I've always disappointed my mother. My mother wanted a sweet, docile child. She had my life planned. School, live at home until I got married, have a couple of kids, and if I had a job, it would involve a civil service test and typing. Instead, I proceeded to live my rebellious life as a sassy child with attitude. I complained to Santa Claus one Christmas about how he had brought me a bicycle with a flat tire the previous year. She never took me back to Santa's workshop. In those more innocent times, we battled through my teen years over makeup, the length of my skirts, going out at night. There were tearful fights, slammed doors, and quick apologies. We made up with hugs and tears, but we never talked, just Mom and me. Quality time wasn't a phrase in the 1960s. I went away to college, but she kept trying to get me to change my major, journalism, into something more practical, like teaching or nursing. "What is that, Diane?" she said. "Nobody knows what you'll do with that." On the other hand, she found hope that I had a nice boyfriend in college who she thought might be the one to march me down the aisle after graduation. But we broke up, mostly because I was afraid I would end up like her, living a dull life in Batavia, having kids, never exploring new worlds. My mother had the life she wanted, a stable home with a good family. What I saw was drudgery. My father had a stressful factory job and spent evenings fixing watches in his little watch room, a retreat from family life. My mother had a full-time job, 4 children, and an elderly mother who lived with us. After work, she cooked dinner and then ironed the white shirts of our Catholic school uniforms. In my eyes, they had no money and no fun. And she saw my life as the reverse, wasting my life and changing jobs frequently. She despaired that I did not seem to want marriage and kids. I was too independent. I had a house, occasional roommates, but I lived alone. "How can you live like that? I would be so lonely, no one to talk to," she would say. So I have lived my life with the vague cloud of maternal disapproval over me. Rarely, if ever, did my parents ever ask me what I had done, like my latest trip. Not that they didn't care, I just never got the care I hungered for. Now our roles are changing, and I am becoming a parent of my parents. As the only adult child living nearby, I am the one helping to figure out medical bills and driving them to Buffalo for doctor appointments. Now I am the one asking the questions and worrying about whether they are eating well. And occasionally, my resentment builds. Why did she not care about my life and what I had done? But sometimes there is a moment of grace and empathy. Many friends have gone through the same situation, and we agree. Our mothers had different standards of what qualified as love back in the day. Maybe with understanding, I can make peace with that. And I have. Redemption has come through, of all things, a stack of 27 photo albums buried in her bedroom closet. Yes, the ones I will inherit. Recently, we started looking at them. As we turned the pages, she opened up for the first time about her family, about her life of insecurity as her father's life as a tenant farmer meant constant moves and unemployment. No wonder she wanted security for me. There was one photo I had never seen before. My parents squeezed into one of those photo booths. It was at Canisius Lake at an amusement park, she thought. A close-up with their smiling faces and their adorable baby. The black and white photo was absolutely beautiful. It could have been a toothpaste ad. My mother looked like a brunette Debbie Reynolds, my father with his slick back black hair like a handsome and grinning Rock Hudson. And there between them as they posed was their beautiful baby girl, me. Perfectly adorable Gerber baby model, a loved baby. This Christmas, I convinced my now 97-year-old father and 93-year-old mother and me, their 6-year-old baby, to recreate that photo. We were alone that Christmas day, and instead of a photo booth, we had my iPhone, and I took a selfie after much grumbling from my father. Are you out of your mind? A happy threesome, cheek to cheek. So I finally had the courage to ask my mother the question that had been weighing on my mind my entire life. Mom, were you disappointed in how I turned out? I never married, never had kids, never became a secretary, never lived in Batavia. She actually thought about that for a minute, looking off in the distance, glancing at me, and started to laugh nervously. Well, she said, you didn't have to become a secretary. And then we both laughed. I leaned over and gave her a big kiss. She may have been disappointed in my choices, but she was never disappointed in me.